Good morning. Big day. How we doing? Welcome back. CPI. Morning, guys. Morning, all the familiar faces. Big day. Great day when the Devils are eliminated from the playoffs. Yeah, man, the Rangers. Tough game last night. They controlled that whole game, just could not score. Varlamov always plays good against the Rangers. Tough one. Morning, guys. Welcome back. It's your birthday. Welcome. Or not welcome. Happy birthday, D Noodles. Happy birthday, D. Morning, guys. Yeah, first period sucked. Anthony. Morning, guys. Morning. CPI today. How we doing? How we feeling? Any Nostradamus in the chat? Yeah, tough one, Anthony, for sure. Would have been nice to get that win. I have a bet for like the last, I think I made it like almost 3 months ago, that the Rangers would win the conference. And it's close, man. It's close. Yeah, I saw there was a Champions League yesterday. Ever since everyone left the Champions League, I just don't even have interest anymore. Like all the teams, like Messi's not on PSG anymore. You know, Ronaldo's not on Real. I just haven't been watching it as much. I don't know. I'm a bad soccer fan. I played soccer my whole life, but I just don't watch it. Real. Oh, wow. Tie. 2 ties yesterday. Wow. Morning, guys. Wait a few minutes. Wait for some people to step in. CPI day. Big day. What's my guess on CPI? I have no idea, man. All I hope for is that we break this channel. That's all I hope for. All I hope is that we break this back and forth movement that we've been trading in. So as you guys may have seen, it's been a tough April for me so far. I've kept the red pretty manageable, something I can make back in 1 or 2 trading days. So still trying to find that groove in April. March, obviously a monster month for me, and a lot of success there. April so far has been pretty volatile, pretty sideways, and just haven't really found that sort of momentum in my trading yet. So waiting on it, staying patient, knowing and believing that the opportunities will arise. Yesterday, definitely a very clean day on the side of technicals. Perfect morning rejection of our 5270, our 18.4 on NASDAQ. That was a very clear rejection early morning. And then later day, we moved down to that demand low on the NASDAQ, that 50 SMA, and held very nicely. So really clean in terms of technicals, just a lot of volatility, very quick upside, downside type of move. More channel trading as we anticipate CPI to be expected. And hopefully today we can see some fireworks, hopefully, to get us some movement in a single direction on the market. So you guys know CPI today, 8:30, so in about 25 minutes. Let's start jumping into it. We obviously are going to do a quick futures analysis before CPI, but we might have a little bit less technicals on individual stocks today because we're going to have to review the futures after 8:30 again, after we see what move comes in. So just know that maybe a little bit less on the technical side on the individual stocks. We'll have to spend a little bit more time on the futures today. That's just sort of how it is. So let's jump right into it. Let's not waste any time. So here is our economic calendar. You guys know this, 8:30. And it's not just CPI today, right? There's more than just CPI today, which is crazy. You got CPI today at 8:30. You got the core month over month, year over year. Then at around 1 o'clock, right, you have that 10-year bond auction. This is also an interesting event today. 10-year bond auction at 1 o'clock. Oh, okay, I think we're good. The live stream looked like it was sort of glitching out for a second. And then after 1 o'clock bond auction, 2 o'clock, we have FOMC minutes. So a lot of stuff on the docket today. A big economic calendar day. Very big. A lot of major events all within one day. And definitely, I would hope to see a little bit of movement outside of the channel on ESNQ. So we'll see what happens here at 8:30. We'll wait for that to really get deep into the analysis because we're going to want to see what that move is before we start making, sort of judgments on the technicals. So 8:30 CPI, 1 o'clock bond auction, 2 o'clock FOMC minutes. And then after today, we get that PPI number, the unemployment claims, the 30-year bond auction, which is a big one as well. And then, of course, Friday, our consumer sentiment. All right. Let me go ahead and pull up the CPI expectations. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that CPI expectation here. So today, the expectations, this webpage just has ads everywhere. Ads everywhere. So here's your CPI expectations for today, guys. You can see the forecast has actually risen, which is interesting, right? See this forecast number? Our forecast versus the previous CPI number has risen 3 basis points. So 0.3. Previous forecast was 3.1. Today's forecast is 3.4. So they are raising the forecast in terms of inflation. They are assuming or forecasting that the number will rise. So we'll see what happens today. Previous number was 3.2. Forecast was 3.1. Yeah, the stream is lagging. I see that. I don't know why. I think it's because I'm not even sure how many people are in here. I think it's just because of this always happens on the CPI day. We get a lot more people in the live streams and it starts to bug out a little bit. Not sure why that's occurring. Maybe something on my end. Maybe my bit rate is too high. But hopefully we are still smooth-ish. Let me know. Just make sure. Keep me updated in the stream, in the chat, if everything looks all right. So 3.2 actual was the last one. 3.1 was the forecast. Today's forecast, 3.4. The actual is yet to be seen. That's what we will see at 8:30 today. Okay? So that's number one. The next is the core. Core, you guys can see right here, core CPI year over year. The forecast has pretty much remained the same, 3.7 over the last 3 reads. And we're just basically sitting right above that forecast. Last was 3.8, and we will see what today's is on the CPI, the core CPI year over year. So something to note, right? We can note that, hey, they are forecasting for CPI to go higher, right? They're forecasting for it to slightly nudge higher for this reading today. All right? Let's get a preliminary, that word is sometimes hard for me to say, preliminary read on the futures because we're obviously going to need to look at this again after the CPI reading. So yesterday, man, I will, when I have a red day and it's a technical move on the day that is very explainable, that's when I'm a little bit more hard on myself than unusual because yesterday it was textbook. It was a textbook day. And in terms of our channel trading, it was a very clean day. So you can see we knew our 18.4 supply was there, right? We knew our 50 SMA demand was down low. And pretty much all we did yesterday was trade within this channel, right? We had a morning pre-market upside into the supply, resulting in downside. The downside came into the demand. We started to hold that demand. We did a little double bottom at that demand, and we got our push back to the upside. So a very nice little channel trade yesterday. And if you guys traded those levels yesterday, congratulations. If you found some success trading off that 50 SMA demand, trading off that 18.4 supply, very nicely done on the NASDAQ, right? That's a great job. And hats off to you for catching that, because it was definitely a catchable downside early morning, and it was definitely a sort of catchable end-of-day move off that 50 SMA demand. Very nice there. So today, we need to see if we can get outside of this channel, right? Can the NASDAQ get above this 18.4? Can the NASDAQ clear above this supply at 18.4? Can we get above this? Can we hold above this on CPI? And if we can, I believe that is something that could result in some upside on this market. I think that is a possible upside catalyst for the market. If the NASDAQ can hold over 18.4 today, if we can hold over that 20 SMA, I believe that is something to be watching for more upside. Right? You can see right here we have that 18.4, we have that 18.4. If I zoom out, right, we have multiple 18.4 sort of previous lows. If we can get above it, I like that for upside, right? So we're going to watch that 18.4 today. If we reject this 18.4, right, if we see CPI a little bit, the market reacts a little bit negatively to CPI, then we could see this 18.4 rejection, and we are looking for a move back down to that 18.230. 18.230, once again, was that 50 SMA, and it was the demand that held once again yesterday. So channel has been the same all week, right? There's been no changes to this 18.4, 18.230 channel that we've traded in. We have basically just done this all week, right, up into this event. And hopefully this is a nice little consolidation that can result in something larger for us to trade and get continuation off of. So that's really it for now, right? For now, that's really all I could say. We have the same channel. We have the 18.230 50 SMA demand. We have the 18.4 upside supply. And can we get a movement outside of this channel today? That is going to be a key watch heading into today. On the QQQ, we can see it's a very similar read. We can see yesterday we pretty much traded within that channel. We moved down towards that 438, towards that 50 SMA. We reclaimed and held this 439.50 yesterday. After reclaiming and holding that 439.50, that's where the market started to sort of get back higher. Sort of a little fake out here. Got back above that 439.50 and sort of tried to maintain that general zone towards close. This 438 hold was very strong there. I can go out and zoom out to that 438 level. That was our FOMC low, right? If you guys remember that, that was our 438 FOMC low, which is where we held yesterday on the downside, right? So here was your FOMC low on QQQ, and you can see that 438 was the level that held on end of day. Midday after that drop. So nice drop early morning off our 443 supply, right? Back into that FOMC low, which was right here, back into that 438, and a nice pop back to the upside. Channel trade still definitely alive. Levels still definitely being respected there. Today, I would say it's about 443, right? You can see we're popping a little bit above 443, but do I trust that into CPI? Not at all, right? Not at all. I don't trust, anything that's happening right now before CPI, but we can definitely watch that 443 today. If we see the QQQ try to hold above that 443, right, I would say that would be something that could lead us to push into that channel high around that 447.50. Okay, so 443, 447.50, and then that FOMC low once again held on very strong yesterday at 438, right? Very strong hold down at that 438. That's going to be a level to watch. If we get downside today, we're going to have to watch that 438. We'll review this in a second. But we'll also have to watch, which, obviously we'll see if we get down here, but we're also going to have to always keep our minds, ready and prepared for that 433 level, 433 level, right? That 433 level has been sort of that major channel low, and under that 433 is that gap that we still need to be aware of. Okay. ES, you guys can see here yesterday, we came into the yesterday morning. We were talking about that 5270 level, right? 5270. We were sort of we were in the pre-market yesterday in the live stream saying, hey, watch out for 5270 rejections. We're trading right back into the rejection levels from earlier this week. And man, did that result in a sexy downside move and just a really textbook rejection right at our previous supply levels. So you guys can see we got that major downside early morning. We reclaimed that 5230 area. We got our pop end of day, and we pretty much just closed the day exactly where we started it. So a lot of volatility yesterday within this channel. Today, you guys can see we're right here again. We are right at the key level, 5270 area once again, into this CPI read. And if we go out to the hourly chart, you can see 5270, 5270, 5270, 5270, and here we are again. So big level here, 5270 on the ES. We will see if we can get a hold above it today. If we can, right, if we see that 5270 start to hold, I would assume that brings us back towards this 5300, right? And above 5300, we have that channel major high, that really the all-time high, right around that 5320, 5330 area. So all eyes for me at 5270, right? That's really the major level we are sitting at right before this event in about 14 minutes. So let's watch that 5270 here. Let's watch that 5243, that 5230. If I zoom out, let me get a little bit more space here. It's really like, yesterday I had it at like 5230 for 33, and here's why. Let me go ahead and move this for a second. Let me get a little bit more time here. I had it at 5233, and here's the reason I had it there, which I think is sort of the general level that held right in that 5233. That was our FOMC low, right? So we had our FOMC low. I'm going to delete this for a second. We had our FOMC low right here at 5233. We had this low right here at 5233, right? And so yesterday, you can see it was a little bit sloppy down in that low. It wasn't perfect, but it was it looks like a general maintain of that FOMC low. A little bit sloppy, right? Very volatile. But overall, that 5233 area, that FOMC low, I believe is what sort of held this ES higher right here. That is also this, right? That's the same as the QQQ, FOMC low. And on the NASDAQ, the FOMC low right there, right? So that FOMC low has been a major watch and a major hold level. It continues to be on this market, right? So all last week, 18,230 NASDAQ. All this week, 18,230 NASDAQ. And what is 18,230 on the NASDAQ futures? That is that FOMC low. So that's been a major level to keep an eye out, guys. You can definitely see the reactions that are occurring here on every single indice, right? ES, NQ, QQQ, SPY, all very key. You can see right here, yesterday, what did we hold on the SPY, right? What was the level that we held on the SPY yesterday? 515. Why did we hold 515? Well, it's because, once again, it's the FOMC low, right? 515. So, big level. That's going to be major, right? I think that will be, if we break below that on CPI or any time in the future, that will sort of be the, hey, markets might start to slip a little bit further here. That's the type of level I would be watching to say, okay, we have now broken below that FOMC low. We're going to have to watch it on everything. SPY, QQQ, NASDAQ, ES, right? If we start getting below that, that's when we should start getting a little bit more interested in whether that downside is going to start slipping in more aggressive, right? Right there, 438. SPY, you guys can see right here, 515, 515, 515, right? And ES, it's that 5233, 5235. And on the NASDAQ futures, once again, it's that 18,230. Okay? So key there. SPY upside, the upside level to be watching today is 521, right? Right here, 521, 521. And that 521 level has been a difficult level for the SPY to get back above. All right? So really, the major channel is that FOMC low to the supply highs, 515 to 521. If we get above 521 today, then I think you're looking for that move into that 524. Okay? That's preliminary. We have 10 minutes until the CPI number. If we go to the Russell real quick, we'll take a quick peek at the Russell. You can see the Russell has maintained sort of this 4-hour channel as well. as we approach this CPI read. 2070 has continued to hold here. Nice 2070 hold. Continues to sit there. And then the upside is around that 2130. Let me go ahead and turn this red. 2130. That's sort of your red supply above. You can see some rejections up in this 2130 area. That looks to be the area to watch. So really, Russell, nothing but a channel. We'll have to wait to see if we can get outside of it. Dow Jones. Dow Jones, Mike Jones, right here, right? Same level. 39,370 has been very clean, right? Previous highs. Here were your lows. Turned back into highs. Here were your lows, right? Turned back into highs. So you're sort of stair-stepping to the downside on the Dow still. For the Dow to get higher, to move higher, to get strength, right? You're going to need to move above this 39,370. 39,370 was this previous low, and we can see it's turning into a rejection, right, at 39,370. That's also our 50 SMA, right? So very clear there. 39,370 on the Dow, major level. To the downside, we can see if we zoom out on the 4-hour, look at how well, for now, that channel low is holding. 38,880, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yesterday 6, right? So channel trade here on the Dow between that 38,880 and that 39,370. Right now, this is all we're doing, just right in between this channel. So we need to see today, do we get above this? Do we break below this? That is going to be something you're going to want to look for. All right? All right. Oil still moving slightly higher on the market. Oil's been sort of grinding higher. In the grand scheme of things, when we zoom out, it's definitely coming off this demand. It's definitely pushing higher. Oil's been steadily increasing. Is it something that's like concerningly high as of right now? I wouldn't say so. It's still, pretty sort of, been within this trading range, for oil to just sort of trade within this 66 to 95 level. Over the last few weeks, definitely been increasing really over the first half of 2024, just sort of that steady increase on the oil futures. TNX sort of been increasing as well, right? TNX is up to 4.38, 4.37. Today, a little bit of a pop there on the TNX. It's been sort of holding up, maintaining, I guess you would say, into that CPI. Dollar this morning actually dropping slightly, but really not much moving on this dollar either. So let's see how all these react today. We're definitely going to want to see how the dollar reacts to this CPI reading, how that 10-year reacts to it. We got the 10-year today as well, the bond auction. So we'll keep an eye on those intraday. That's about it until we get into some stocks. I guess we can get a quick peek at a few stocks here, and then wait for that CPI reading. So yesterday, Tesla, some strength, right? I don't know, pig with makeup still. That's the big question. Yesterday though, very nice hold. I'm gonna move this level for a second. Very nice hold. I mean, perfection hold at that daily 20 SMA. Look at this Tesla yesterday morning. This was the open on Tesla right here. A perfection hold at 172, which was that daily 20 SMA. So that could be a level we keep an eye out for, right? That daily 20 on Tesla, very solid bounce off that level yesterday. However, Tesla is still under 180, right? So if the market's weak today, guys, if we get a weak market today, I am not opposed to looking for rejections at 180 on Tesla, right? I am not opposed to seeing if this is just another sort of 180 high that could cause another sort of channel high rejection, right? Because really, all this is Tesla 180 channel high, right? And Tesla around that 160 channel low. So you've been sort of channeling here on Tesla between this 160, 180. Does this 180 turn into another rejection point that we could fade this move off of? Obviously, depends on what we see on CPI here. If CPI is good and Tesla breaks over 180, then hey, same thing sort of applies. This could be that breakout move if we can hold over that 180 level. So Big watch here, I'd say, on Tesla, right? You've seen some. I'm scared to call it strength because Tesla's sort of hard to trust as of late. It's hard to call it strong. But yesterday, definitely a little bit of outperformance off that daily 20, little pop to the upside. You do need to be careful up here, though, guys. I would be very cautious up here. If we start to see weakness in the market, this might be a fantastic opportunity back to the downside if we see that selling come in heavy again at that 180. So big watch there. NVIDIA, man, yesterday NVIDIA was very heavy to start the day. Very heavy. I mean, extreme weakness, and moved right down lower, even past that 850 level. Here's what I'm sort of watching on NVIDIA. Yesterday, NVIDIA, let me go ahead and clean up this chart. Yesterday, NVIDIA had a pretty major daily chart wick back to the upside off this 834, 820 area. So yesterday you had this low, right? Or from back in March, you have this low right here. This is March 5th. March 5th on NVIDIA. The low of that candle was 834.17. 834.17 was the exact low of that daily candle. 834.17. So that daily candle low that we have from March 5th, we had a pretty decent, right? You see right here. Look at the intraday on NVIDIA. This is your intraday on NVIDIA. You have a pretty decent little liquidity grab, right, under that level. Big pop right back above. You can see it was an instant drop and pop as we hit that 834 level, right? And you can see for the rest of the day, NVIDIA maintained that 834 level. So you have because of that, you left behind an interesting daily chart wick off that previous low. If the market is strong today, if there is strength on CPI, that could be something to watch, right? It could be something to watch. You came back down to that low. You had a nice wick off of it. Is this something to sort of watch if the market starts to gain strength again? Is it something to watch for the curl back higher? I will be watching that today, definitely. Now, I don't want to get too excited for that because yesterday I got a little too excited on NVIDIA, and I definitely took a loss on that trade. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. We'll have to stay unbiased there. But that is an interesting little daily chart wick on NVIDIA and an interesting hold of this low from back on March 5th. You can see it came in yesterday. So something I will be sort of monitoring here today, obviously depending on what we see on CPI. And you can see we've been in this downtrending move, right? Downtrend is still strong. Downtrend still there. I would want to see us get above that downtrend. Intraday today, though, there are some levels that you need to be watching, right? Very clear levels that we need to be watching. I believe you need to get above that 860 level on NVIDIA, right? You can see right here, NVIDIA, previous lows 860. That is still a very clear rejection point. So if NVIDIA pops today into 860, we need to be careful of this, okay? Be careful of that 860 today if we get a pop into that level. Above 860, you guys can see the level that rejected yesterday, that 875. Very nice 875 rejection. So 860, 875, two big levels to watch here on NVIDIA today. We'll obviously get a read on this in about a minute and a half as we approach CPI. All right? So let's take a second. Let's pop into the futures here. We'll get onto the ES. Actually, can I put them side by side? Can we get the full read here? Let's go here. I know that chart's a little bit ugly because it's not formatted correctly. Let me format it real quick for you. Turn these off. We'll go overlap volume. We'll turn the grid off. There we go. So we got NASDAQ on the right, ES on the left, CPI incoming. CPI incoming. Press that like button if you guys could. 2,500 of you guys here. If you could, press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. We shall see in about 20 seconds how this market reacts to the CPI inflation number. Okay. Initial move is a pop. Let's see if it holds up. Eh, not really. No, not a hold. Okay. So pop and fade. And it looks like right now, man, I hope this doesn't hold this channel. Okay, it looks like some decent downside. Downside coming in. Can we break this 18,230 from yesterday? It looks like we may. Yeah, increasing. Getting that channel break. I do not want to see the NASDAQ maintain here. All right, so let's pull up the CPI reading. The last thing I want to see is this thing bounce back higher and keep us in this channel for another day. All right, so reading was 3.5 versus 3.4. So higher than expected, higher than the forecast. Last was 3.2. You guys can see right here, 3.2, 3.1. Today, 3.5 versus 3.4. So forecast, 3.4. Actual number, 3.5. Let's get that. I want to get that month over month. Month over month, we had a 0.4 versus a 0.3. So pretty much the same as the last month over month. You guys can see right here, 0.4 versus 0.4. Slightly higher than forecast month over month. And let's get that core real quick. Core CPI was 3.8, same as previous, versus 3.7 forecast. So, no, this is NQES here, man, not ESES. So, definitely downside reaction. 1 basis point higher on inflation reading. Let me go ahead and just pop this into the actual screen now. So we can see that 5270 level, once again, big time. Big time 5270. Big time rejection once again. Pop to the downside. What levels do we have to be careful of now? All right, so let's zoom out to the 4-hour chart. And let's take a look at this a little zoomed out here. So number one, I would say today the first thing to be watching is 5190. Okay, 5190 is your first level to watch. 5190 is the low here from that Thursday drop last week. You can see right there, 5190, right there. So let's watch that. Let's watch that 5190. If we break under that 5190, you guys can see right here, 5170, 5170, 5170, 5170, and that's the ES50 SMA. Okay, so these are my 2 downside levels to watch now. You can see right here, 5190, 5170. 2 downside levels to be watching as the market slides lower here. If we move back to the upside at any point today, I would be looking for the rejection of the FOMC lows. Okay, this is going to be the major. I think this might be the most major and possible re-short entry here if we get it. If we get a pop today back into this FOMC low, that might be your best re-short entry. 52.30, 52.33. Let's watch to see if that market moves back to the upside and then rejects, right, that FOMC low. That could be a nice play today, right here. FOMC lows, right there. If we can get that pop and fade at that level, that could be sort of the entry point we're looking for downside continuation. So let me zoom in on this 15-minute. All right, so demand here, 5190. That's key. Let's watch that. Under that, 5170, 50 SMA. If we can get a morning pop back to the upside, I would watch FOMC lows, 5233, 5230, see if that rejects. If we get right back above that FOMC lows, I'm not going to enjoy that, okay? Because that means we are right back in this channel. If we pop back in this channel, you are going to see more of the same which is not really what you'd like to see here. So 52.30, 52.35 FOMC lows, that's going to be something you're going to want to see reject today if you want that downside continuation, if we even get that pop back into it. We shall see. But for now, downside demands to watch, 51.90, 51.70. All right, let's go to SPY. So SPY broke 515. So that's key. That is yesterday's lows. So let's move this here. 515. Let's take this. Let's take this. Let's put that there. Let's put that there. So 515 was our FOMC low, right? You can see right here, 515. Right there, 515, 515. We are under that 515. So today, what I would be looking for on the short term, right, is if we can bounce, which you'd like to get a bounce, can we get a bounce into 515? Can we get that rejection at 515? That is something I would be watching today. If we get above 515, we got our 517 and we got our 518. Those are our next two levels to watch. If we zoom out, if this downside just continues to slip, which it looks like it is right now, I would say the target here is still possibly 508.50, right? That still looks like it could be the target if we need to get this downside on the market, right? You can see right here, 508.50, 508.50, 508.50, 508.50. That might be your spot, right? That might be sort of your slide spot into that 50 SMA and back into this major low that was created back in early March, late February, right? That could be sort of the target level for the downside move, okay? So watch that 508.50. As of right now, still moving lower, breaking to new lows. And hey, you might even hit here pretty quickly. That would be a major spot on the SPY today, 508.50. Okay, so watch that today on SPY. Let's go to NQ real quick. NQ, let's go out to the hourly. So the NQ level that we are going to have to watch here is that 18,000. We are down to that 18,000 area. That's going to be our level. 18K, 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 18,000, 18,000. That's going to be our level to watch there at 18,000. So let's keep an eye on that 18,000. If we break under 18,000, I think you move to that 17.8. Okay, so under 18,000, 17.8. If we break this down on the 30-minute chart, the cleanest short for me, right, where I don't have to really chase, which I don't like to chase, but the non-chasing short would be this, right? The non-chasing short would be that, okay, big reaction in the pre-market, little, maybe a little grind to the upside to open the market, little reversal trade, right? And then watch to see if we can get that rejection at that 50. That would be, if you start to see the NASDAQ sort of tracing back higher this morning, back into these lows, that would be the, I think, really sexy potential re-entry short. Now, what is that 18,230, right? You should remember 18,230 is that FOMC low. So if we can get some kind of a, little dead cat bounce here on the NQ, that would be a great trading opportunity. If we can get a dead cat bounce back into that FOMC low, back into these lows, right? Back into this channel low, and back into that 50 SMA, if we could get that little dead cat bounce into that level today, that would be something I'm definitely watching for that curl back lower, okay? That would be great if we get that. Now, I don't know if we're going to get that, but that would be sort of a game plan that you want to be aware of, right? If you start seeing upside in the market, don't just start, longing the hell out of the market. You have to understand, hey, okay, we're trading back into rejection points. Let me go ahead and look for that re-entry short there. So 18,230, I would watch that. 18,000, 18,400, obviously big rejection. What's this low that came in from Thursday? We can just sort of pop a level there. It's right around 18,055. Right there, 18,055. Okay. This would be a great short right here. I would love to see that. We'll see if we can get that morning pop back into that level. I'm not sure you're going to get that, but that would be very nice. This would be the same for 438 on the QQQ. 438 on the QQQ is that FOMC. Let me go ahead and go to the hourly chart. So right here, you can see 438 on the QQQ. Bam, 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 438, right? 438 and 438, right? If we can get that pop back into 438 and we can get that rejection, that would be a great, I think, reshort entry today. A non-chasing reshort entry, right? Get that move back up, start to see this fade, and then look to see if that rejects. So watching that 438 closely there. Here it comes, right? Here we're getting close. We're getting close to the 433. That's going to be big, right? If we turn off this extended hours, what is going on under this 433? Not a whole hell of a lot, right? Under 433, you got a gap here. What is this gap? That's NVIDIA's gap. That's the gap that was caused by NVIDIA's earnings. So if the QQQ gets under 433 today, watch out below, right? I think that could really start to kickstart more downside. So watch under 433 on the QQQ. This is major here. This is going to be something you definitely want to be keeping eyes on today. 433 on the QQQ. If we start getting under that level and we start seeing that, rejection come in, if we start getting stuck under this 433, that is gap fill time. And I would be aware of that. Okay. All right. Let's get back into some stocks. Oh, man. Well, it looks like our idea has been, has happened, but, yeah, that's too far gone for me now, unfortunately. What a nice, if you said, hey, I'm taking Tesla puts overnight because of this 180 level, and I'm just going to hold through CPI. Well, congratulations. Yeah, it looks like 180, a little bit too far now for me to be entering shorts now. What I would be looking for actually is 172. 172 would be what I would be watching. If you can get a hold under that 20-day, I would say, okay, maybe time for some continuation, right? That's probably what I would be watching. Look for a hold under that 172 today. If you can get that, then that might be your reshort entry, right? Under that 172, okay? So under the 20 SMA, under 172, that would be my watch. Right now, you can see Tesla is still battling that 172 level. Very interesting. NVIDIA. Okay, so NVIDIA popped down right back into yesterday's lows. Interesting that NVIDIA has not broken yesterday's lows. Is that... Let me see. Is that one of the only... what is broken yesterday's lows? We'll obviously go through it. Tesla has held yesterday's lows. So that's a key watch, right? Every chart you're watching today, make sure you put yesterday's lows on your chart, right? Have that line right at the previous day low. Make sure you keep that on your charts, okay? That's going to be key, right? We got to know, hey, are stocks breaking the previous day lows or are they maintaining them? So right now, believe it or not, which I'm shocked to see, I would have thought I was about to come into this. I was expecting to pop into NVIDIA and see this thing down, heavily. It's down, that's for sure. But we definitely need to be careful at this previous day low right here. 835, 834. You can see holding a little bit. If we can get below it, I think you can get that juice. But you got to be slightly cautious there with that previous day low. Okay, so watch that 834 today. Be aware of that on NVIDIA. If you can get below that, then I like that for more. Oh, AMD. You guys can see right here, 173, 173. Very nice AMD little wedge that was forming. And look at this little break that's stepping up here. Not much of a trade here for me on AMD until 165, right? I don't really like just sort of taking this in a random spot. But I would probably wait to see if AMD can retrace down to here, right? See if AMD can get down to here, and then maybe there's a pop off that level. But I don't know if I would just be taking. I mean, we could. You know what we could do? We could, if you want to get a little bit more aggressive here today, you could sort of pop this in and look at some previous day lows, right? We could sort of look at. It's like 166.80, right? You can see right here. 166.80, 167 on AMD. You can see 166.80, 166.80, and then sort of that general low from yesterday as well. So I'd say like that 167, 166.80 level on AMD is sort of that key level. You can see right now that's sort of where the battle is forming on AMD, right at that low. So I'd say if AMD can hold below that 167 today, you might have that move down to 165. But be careful at this, I'd say Monday low, okay? That's what I'd watch. Monday low, the low of Monday is 166.82, okay? So this low on Monday, 166.82, and that is exactly where you're trading right now. So 166.82 on AMD, that looks to be your level to watch. Monday's lows, okay? Let's go to TSM. TSM, okay, back. Is it still above 143? TSM has been a grinder. It's been a grinder, and it's held above some pretty nice levels. But now with the market sort of uncertain, I'm not sure I'd be taking this with too much aggression. But you can see yesterday. Remember we talked about TSM gap fill? That's exactly what TSM did. Perfect gap fill, nice downside. Where did the gap fill end? Right at 143. That level has been very important, right? We've been watching this level on this live stream, and that 143 held again yesterday. So TSM still above that 143 gap fill level today. Interesting, right? So today I'd watch to see, okay, if I can get a little bit more downside on TSM, what happens at this 143, right? Do we hold it again or do we break it? And if TSM breaks 143, I think that could result in some nice downside, right? That's a big break back under 143. But I would be careful shorting TSM until it breaks under that, because this 143 has been a pretty nice hold level. So watch out for that level today on TSM. MU, yeah, MU under 121 is sort of interesting. I'd say watch this MU under 121 today. This has been a major hold level. And so if MU starts to reject 121, I would look for that. Keep an eye on that MU under 121, maybe for a move into 117. What a beautiful rejection of 126 again yesterday. Absolutely gorgeous. You had 126, 126 yesterday. We popped right into it and faded all day. Perfect 126 fade on MU. I would be watching these lows at 121 on MU today. All right, let's jump into Meta, because Meta was a sexy one yesterday as well. This in the pre-market live stream, we talked about that 523 level. We talked about that previous low, right? Turning into rejections on a break and retest. And man, was that a beauty. This is definitely one that got away, right? The one that got away, yeah, that's this one. 523, double bottom lows, break, retest, rejection, absolutely perfection on Meta yesterday. 523 from support into rejections. Really clean there on Meta yesterday. So that's definitely a big rejection level. The support level on Meta today is 507. We saw that yesterday, and we're seeing it right now. So is Meta above yesterday's lows? The answer to that right now is yes. So yesterday's lows, 507, 507. Big level there. I would personally look for like this 515 area to reject on Meta if we get a pop back higher. So right here, you have this 515, 515, 515. I would sort of be watching to see if Meta pops higher, does it start to reject here? So I'd watch that 515. I'd watch that 507 on Meta. Under 507, hold on, let me take a look at this. Is this the gap? Let me turn this off real quick. I'm pretty sure we have a gap under 507. Oh, no, we filled the gap at 5. Okay, interesting. So 507 was the gap fill yesterday. Very interesting. Okay. All right, so we had that gap fill on Meta yesterday, right? See this? Yesterday, 507 was the gap fill move. That's very nice on Meta. So I'd watch that 507 closely. If we fail under 507, that could lead to more. If we fail under 507, that could lead to more. But right now, we are still holding it. Yeah, I'm actually interested. I do want to go to Dell because we actually played Dell yesterday, believe it or not. I had an 80% trade to the downside on Dell yesterday, which was quite nice. Why did I trade Dell yesterday? Because it just provided a setup. So we had that 125 low. Remember we were talking about that yesterday, that 125 low. And intraday yesterday, we had a pretty clean break and retest rejection of that 125 level. We held it early morning. We failed it in the afternoon. And I just played shorts on Dell under that 125. And this thing slipped for us very nicely through, right? Remember we talked about this. This was textbook from the live stream, through that low volume gap, right? Pretty much straight up. And that means straight down. So that was really nice on Dell. Dell support definitely stepping in around that 120. So be careful shorting Dell into 120. That's definitely a strong hold level. If we get a pop back higher, I would look for the shorts at 125. I would still look to see if 125 becomes another short level on Dell. But I would be careful shorting into that 120. Big level down there. Let's go into the strongest name that I've seen on the market, and that is Google. Google has been a monster lately, but we'll see if that changes today. Because right now, definitely under a little bit of pressure. That's for sure. Obviously because of CPI. But we can definitely watch here on Google. She's been grinding. That's for sure, right? Holding very key levels all week. Just sort of stair-stepping to the upside. But it looks like right now, which I would be watching very closely today, is if Google rejects right here. If Google rejects right here, this could be an interesting continuation. So watch yesterday's double bottom lows and watch Monday's highs. This could be very interesting if we stay under this level, right? That's a big if. We have to see. We got to give it time. If Google pops back above and holds, then do not look to short Google there. But if Google does prove to reject yesterday's double bottom lows right here and reject this high, this could be a nice little rejection play for more downside, maybe back into that 155. All right? So watch this very close. Oh, Google just got right back above. So that play might invalidate. If the market is strong, right? Let me preface this, right? We have to watch these things both ways. This is key levels do not mean it's only one directional trade. Key levels mean there is a trade both sides. Okay? And so what did you just see on Google? Google has now reclaimed, and we'll see if it holds, right? We don't know yet. But this is what we get paid. We get paid the big bucks to understand the price action on the intraday, right? That is our job. We can make these levels. These are static levels that we watch in the pre-market. The price action is not static, right? We need to be watching what it does intraday. But if we do see Google start to really defend this again today, right? Really just not wanting to give up, then this could result in another upside push, right? Off this low. So we got to watch it both ways there. Amazon. I think Amazon wants to go back to 180 personally. At least that's where I'd like to see it back to. I'm not really a fan of Amazon up at this all-time high. This has been a nice little, longer-term fade idea, right? If you just said, hey, I don't think Amazon's breaking all-time highs here, you've probably made out pretty well. I would personally not touch Amazon till 180. I'm not interested. I need it back here. I need it back here. I need it back at the 20. Not interested on Amazon there until 180. What else? Netflix broke a pretty big level here. Netflix has broken below the 20 SMA. It has broken below the 20 SMA. And so what I would be looking for today on Netflix, if the market does stay weak, I would be looking for a rejection of 616, okay? I would be looking to see, can Netflix pop back up into 616? Can it pop back up into these highs? Can it pop back into these lows? And can it start to reject? That's something I would watch on Netflix. 616. I would watch that today. TSM? Holy shit. Is TSM... Man, guys, I got to be honest. I don't want to be too interested in a single setup, but you have definitely, you can sort of spot outperformance, right? TSM has been a strong holding stock. So keep an eye on this thing, man. I'm not saying that you're going to want to long this after this CPI print because it's a little sketchy to do that. I would agree with you there. But, hey, this TSM move has been pretty valid over this 143 and has really maintained it, even with a lot of market drama, right? A lot of market drama yesterday, some market drama today, and this thing says, hey, I'm holding 143. So keep an eye on this, right? That would be just, general watch for me. Keep an eye on how this TSM continues to maintain this 143. It's been strong, right? It's getting those government subsidies. It seems like it's one of the stronger semiconductor names as of late. So I would keep eyes on this thing. All right, I got to end it there, guys. Unfortunately, we're running out of time here. So let's get a quick review on the futures. We are holding this demand low, right, at 18,055. We're holding that Friday low from last week. Again, I think you want this pop. I think you want this pop to just sort of alleviate some drama today if you are going to short, right? I would want to see this. This is sort of where I'd like to get aggressive. If we can pop back into that 50, that would really be the less drama-filled short, right? Instead of chasing just chasing everything today, let's wait for that little dead cat bounce, right? That could be very interesting. I'd also watch like this 160 level. This is yesterday's lows. I think we also need to watch that. I don't know why I don't have that on my chart. Let me make sure that's popped on. I would also be watching yesterday's lows, of course, right here, right? So here's the two levels on the NASDAQ futures. Yesterday's lows, 18,160, 50 SMA, 18,230. Look for those dead cat bounces today. QQQ, 438, right? That's really the level I'd like to see us pop into. It looks like right now, though, where are you rejecting on the Qs? You're rejecting right at that 50 SMA. ES, okay, the ES is back over. So the ES is holding the 50, back over that 51.92 for the moment. Nothing that I would say is definitely strong. And then I would also make sure you have the 52.10 on your charts right here. Let me go ahead and move this over. Why is this so long? Holy how long is this line? There it is. Damn, that's a long one. So I would watch, here's what I would watch. 50 SMA, 51.70, 51.90, and then you have right here this previous day low, 52.10. Okay? SPY, I would be very careful. As long as the SPY is under that FOMC low, I would assume it stays weak. So that's 5.15 for me. Okay? I would look for the SPY to pop back into 5.15 and reject. That's personally what I would look for. 5.15, 5.15, FOMC lows. Look to see if that SPY can have a little dead cat bounce to start the day, and then maybe look to see if that fade comes in at 5.15. That's what I would look for. All right? That's my game plan for now, but we shall see. It could be a pretty volatile day. Stay safe out there, guys. Press that like button if you could. Subscribe to the channel if you want to stay tuned for more. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Make sure to remember, 10-year bond auction, 1 o'clock, FOMC minutes, 2 o'clock. More events today. Be aware of it. Be safe. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.